My brother and I were born and raised in western Montana. We know that most people only go through southwest Montana on their way to Yellowstone. So my brother and I wanted to share a couple of our favorite stops in southwest Montana with you, so you think a little bit different about Yellowstone country. Good morning, beautiful people, from a very, very wet campsite here outside of Ennis, Montana. So we're having a bit of a lazy morning this morning. If you're new here, hello, my name is Amanda Zitto. I make motorcycle travel vlogs, content about motorcycle camping, and general encouragement for you to get out and do the thing. We did have plans today. We'll find out together. We got a small break in the weather so I could open up my vestibule. And brother reminded me that we had snacks. So I have an apple and 2 boiled eggs that I'm going to have with my beef broth. Nom nom nom. Breakfast of champions. After much deliberating and finishing our breakfast beverages so we feel like human beings again, I think we have decided to utilize this fateful break in the weather because we can see the rest of the storm coming our way very quickly. I think we're going to utilize this break in the weather to pack up camp here, and we're going to go to Virginia City, rain or shine, enjoy the city, and then I think the goal is to stay in Dillon tonight so we can dry out all of our gear and then make our way from Dillon back to the valley tomorrow. Crazy, brother, this trip is coming to an end. I don't know how to feel. Feels really weird as I watch the storm come our direction. And this is why this tent is awesome, because the body of the tent can be broken down under the rainfly. So you can get as much broken down as possible before you have to get into the rain. As you can probably tell, our break in the rain was very short. This tour of Montana wouldn't have been possible without this video sponsor, Revzilla, the best online resource for motorcycle parts, accessories, and riding gear. You can find a full list of all of the riding gear that I use in this video and a link in the description.
Virginia City and Nevada City lie along Alder Gulch, the site of the richest placer gold strike in the Rocky Mountains. The area is unique in Montana because, unlike so many other ghost towns that pepper the state, this boomtown was able to embrace their history into a successful tourist attraction. Thanks to their success, the Nevada City Living History Museum is home to 100 preserved 1863 to early 1900 buildings and artifacts from all over Montana that would have otherwise been destroyed. If you're new here, and couldn't tell already, my sister is a 19th century history nerd, and this is her happy place.
I'm so happy! Virginia City was designated the territorial capital of Montana in 1865, when Alder Gulch had gathered most of Montana's population. At its peak, 10,000 people flooded this area, known as the 14-Mile City, for the numerous settlements that lined the gulch. Today, Virginia City is considered the best preserved example of the many placer mining camps that flourished during the 1860s throughout the Rocky Mountain West. It provides an exceptional sample of commercial architecture of the mid-19th century. It's also home to the Wells Fargo Steakhouse, which arguably has the best food you'll find within a 70-mile radius. We just had an awesome steak that was worth everything. The rain, the cold, packing up in the rain. It was worth it. And now we have a very wet ride to Dillon. Good morning, beautiful people from Dillon, Montana. We stayed at the Super 8 last night to escape the rain, and knock on wood, we got a little break in the rain this morning. Got all of our gear dried out from the downpour yesterday, thank goodness. Today, the goal is to go to Bannack, and then I think we're gonna try to book it the rest of the way home. Let's do this thing. Bannack State Park is a National Historic Landmark and the site of Montana's first major gold discovery.
In July of 1862, John White and fellow members of a Colorado-based group of Pikes Peakers discovered gold along the banks of a creek he named the Grasshopper. To protect his discovery, White filed one of the first recorded mining claims in Montana. Good news traveled fast, and miners rushed to the Grasshopper diggings. The mining camp, soon to be known as Bannack, boasted a population of about 400 that fall, and swelled to 3,000 in the spring. For the most part, Bannack was made up of single women or men who left their families behind intent on making their fortunes. Approximately $500,000 in gold was taken out of the area by the end of 1862. The little mining camp was named for the Bannack Indians, who along with the Lemhi Shoshone frequented this area. Bannack is a Scotch word and means a cake cooked over an open fire, a corruption of the tribe's name, Banneat.
Many of the buildings in Bannack have seen many different uses over the years. One of the most impressive buildings left standing is the Hotel Meade that started life as the county courthouse built in 1875. It was the first brick courthouse in Montana. After the railroad entered the region and Dillon became the economic center of the county seat was moved out of Bannack and to Dillon in 1881. The large building sat empty until 1891 when it was purchased by Dr. John Singleton Meade and turned into a plush hotel. It became the center of Bannack's social activity and operated until the 1940s. One of Bannack's more famous stories is its part in the story of the criminal gang known as the Innocents.
Henry Plummer was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to San Quentin Prison in 1858. He was given a medical pardon in 1859, then made his way to Bannack in 1862. Shortly after arriving in Bannack, he was tried and acquitted for the murder of Jack Cleveland, but still managed to be elected sheriff in May 1863. Legend says upon his arrival here, he renewed old acquaintances and organized the Innocents. They say he recruited approximately 25 men. In 8 months, his gang supposedly committed countless robberies and 102 murders, although the evidence is a little slim.
In December of 1863, the first Vigilance Committee was organized. During the next 42 days, vigilantes went as far as Hellgate and the Bitterroot Valley in pursuit of members of the gang. By the end of January, they had executed over 20 of the robber band, including Henry Plummer, and banished or silenced the remainder.
The Big Hole Valley is a vast, lush meadow surrounded by stunning peaks, showcasing the meandering Big Hole River. It is home to the Big Hole National Battlefield, the site of the 1877 conflict between the Nez Perce and the U.S. Army. There is not a lot of services in the Big Hole Valley, which makes Wisdom and Jackson key points along your route to refuel your bike and your body for your adventures. There isn't much in the way of grocery options besides the small market in Wisdom and the mercantile on Rise River, so you may want to make a stop in a bigger town and stock up before heading this direction.
Made it to Wisdom, just in time for lunch. We got a nice little break in the weather, but we can see it coming from over there. So, hurry up and eat, right? Mm-hmm.
Chief Joseph Pass and Lost Trail Pass are well-known motorcycle roads in western Montana, but it would be a disservice if we didn't mention them. Their junction is also the border of Idaho and Montana.
I can't finish a series about Western Montana without dedicating a small amount of time to Hamilton, Montana, which is where my brother and I grew up, which also happens to be a stop on the Idaho Backcountry Discovery Route, by the way. If you're stopping through this area, we recommend a stop at the Knapp's Burgers on Main Street. The Mine Shaft also has wonderful pasties, and Big Creek Coffee Roasters is one of my favorite stops when I'm home. We hope that you enjoyed this series and that it helped you think a little bit different about Western Montana, and maybe we've added a few stops to your wish list along the way. A huge shout out to my patrons on Patreon who make this whole channel possible. I wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. Thank you so much. Question for my end screen crew: out of the last 5 episodes of this Western Montana series, what is one place you now really want to visit? I'll see you guys later.
Best day for a ride, huh?
You got rain gear, you good?
Yeah. Drive safe.
Thank you.
Yeah.